again, ladies and gentlemen, a good evening to you, and welcome to our second annual Kidz concert. Tonight we have a program full of lighthearted music for the young residents and music fans of Sterling, and some lucky winners will have a chance to sit within the rows of the band as we play, and they'll see what it's like to be a part of a group like this. And of course, one lucky winner will lead us in a march a little later on. Tonight we also feature a number of solo pieces with band to showcase a couple of musical instruments to not only our youngsters, but to our big kids as well. The story behind most marches is that they were written to commemorate an important point in history or written for a special occasion. The story behind this march is about a piece of history. The Battle of Shiloh was also known as the Battle of Pittsburgh Landing, which was a battle from the Civil War that was fought on April 6th and 7th of 1862 in southwestern Tennessee, located within Hardin County. Towards the end of the battle, Union commanders launched a counterattack along the entire line. Then Confederate forces were forced to retreat, ending their hopes of blocking the Union advance into northern Mississippi. Composed by Charles Barnhouse, this is a musical adaptation and depiction of the Battle of Shiloh. Born in 1950, Alan Silvestri is best known for his collaborations with movie director Robert Zemeckis. Two of their most famous movies with Silvestri's music are Forrest Gump and the Back to the Future trilogy. Silvestri was 21 years old when he began his film and television composing career. His most recent works was composing the score for the Marvel comic superhero team movie The Avengers, which you'll hear a little bit later, and it was released just over, oh, that was old news, we're not going to read that. But it grossed about $1.5 billion at the box office. However, The Polar Express is about a young boy who hops the magical train to find out if Santa Claus really exists, and once he gets to the North Pole, St. Nick handpicks him to be the receiver of the first gift of Christmas. The film casted Tom Hanks in 6 distinct roles, and most of the movement in the movie was done using live-action performance capture technique, where computer technology incorporates the movement of live actors into animated characters. The $165 million movie was released in IMAX 3D theaters on November 10th of 2004. Within this arrangement, you'll hear these songs: Believe, the Polar Express theme, When Christmas Comes to Town, and Spirit of the Season. We hope you enjoy music from the Polar Express, composed by Alan Silvestri and arranged by Jerry Brubaker. All right, so for you kids out there, it is time to hold our first raffle drawing and announce the numbers to see if you've won the first prize for tonight. If you are one of these lucky winners to this drawing, you will get to sit within the band as we perform Colonel Bogey in just a little while. So those numbers are, I'll read them twice for you, 606024. The next number, 606029. The next number, 606031, 606052, 606058, and lastly, 606060. Here's some awes out there. So one more time quickly. They all start with 6060. I can't say that too many times. But they end in 24, 29, 31, 52, 58, and finally 606060. If you are holding one of those ticket numbers, would you please go back to the carreta and find Mr. O'Keefe, and then he will bring you backstage. He's raising his hand, so if you look back there, Mr. O'Keefe will bring you backstage and get you ready to sit with us for Colonel Bogey. Thanks very much. And in a moment, we'll present our first solo piece with band on the program tonight. Titled with a German term, the words immer kleiner mean always smaller. And you might think that's an odd title for a piece of music, but you'll soon see what we mean. The complete subtitle says, a humorous clarinet solo which should be played during a waning moon. I'm no astrologist, so I don't know what's going on there, but while the clarinet soloist plays this piece, her instrument will always get smaller, as she will remove pieces of the instrument as the piece goes on. The clarinet is put together with 5 pieces, and first you'll see our soloist remove the bell of the instrument all the way at the bottom. Then after a while she'll remove the lower joint, and is reduced to playing on about a half of a clarinet. After playing on that for a while, she'll remove the upper joint and the barrel until she's left with only the mouthpiece and the wooden reed, which makes for an interesting sound. So that's what the composer meant by always smaller. To demonstrate that for you and to see and hear this happen before your eyes and ears, please welcome to the solo microphone our principal clarinetist, Mrs. Cathy James.
Again, I'm going to give you two beats and a pom-pom.
When you play assistant, you have to do it with a little flair. Cathy wishes to dedicate this performance to the late Bob LaRue, who was the band director at Dixon High School for many years, along with the Dixon Municipal Band and Sauk Valley Community College Band. This is Immer Kleiner. This is Cathy James, ladies and gentlemen. The Immerkliner. The next piece was written by English composer Kenneth Alford. He wrote marches which are considered to be great examples of the art, and as John Philip Sousa was known as the American March King, Kenneth Alford, respectively, is known as the British March King. In any event, this tune was inspired by a particular military man and golfer who did an interesting thing just before he made a drive on any given hole on the golf course. Instead of shouting "4," he would whistle a characteristic two-note phrase. For you musicians out there and up here, the two pitches that he sang created a minor third which sounds like this. So we want you to keep that in your ear because it's those two notes which start most of the phrases of the melody in this tune. So after enough time passed, and because of that habit which that golfer had started, the term bogey is now known in golf to mean 1 over par. So, for the young people out there, there you have it. Some things can come down from history just from the smallest concepts in music. So, we hope you enjoy sitting in with us during this, Kenneth Alford's Colonel Bogey. The movie that this music came from was a 2012 superhero film based on the Marvel comic superhero team of the same name. It premiered on April 11th of 2012 and was released on May 4th of that year. It set or tied numerous box office records, including the biggest opening weekend in the United States and Canada. It grossed over $1.5 billion worldwide and became the third highest grossing film of all time. And it was the highest grossing film of 2012 as well. There were two sequels, one in 2015 and just this year in April, and a third untitled sequel is scheduled for release next year. Here's a representation of what you hear in that film, arranged by Michael Brown, and another composition by Alan Silvestri. Here is The Avengers. We come to the point now where we will feature another solo work, and it's called The Blue Bells of Scotland, which is the usual modern name for a Scottish folk song written by a woman named Dora Jordan, who is an English actress and writer. The immediate imagery of the title might make you think of some church bells that were maybe painted blue, but no, in case you don't know, a bluebell is a type of flower. This arrangement was assembled by Arthur Pryor, who was a trombone virtuoso and soloist with the Sousa Band many moons ago. This arrangement is a theme and variations which will be played by our own Brian Antone. Brian usually sits in our euphonium section, you see him here on the end, but he's played some solos on his primary instrument, the trombone, and we wanted to feature him on this piece for you tonight. So please welcome to the solo microphone, Mr. Brian Antone. Trombone soloist Brian Antone. Brian, you got enough lip left for the concert? All right. Folks, we're going to take just a minute here and give one ticket number and announce that, and this person will guest conduct the Sterling Municipal Band in a little bit during Le Sabre. And the winner is holding a red ticket, and here is the number, 874032. Stand up and shout it out if you got it. One more time, 874032. We have a winner. Young sir, would you please go back to Mr. O'Keefe? He's got his hand raised back there, and he'll bring you back around backstage. Let's hear it for him. So we go from a folk song to something completely different. A song about flowers to a song about failed improvisation, if you will. This is a popular tune by Italian composer Piero Umiliani. It originally appeared in an Italian film and then was a minor radio hit in Britain, and then it became known internationally by the Muppets and on the Benny Hill Show. We first saw it on our television screens in 1969 as the parts were voiced by Jim Henson, Frank Oz, and Loretta Long. It became a real big hit after this sketch was featured on the Ed Sullivan Show. Bip Bipadada was the name of the puppet who sang this tune. He was a hip-looking dude who wore dark shades and had untamed hair, and he made a fashion statement by wearing a green dress. Anyway, if you've seen this sketch and remember it, Bip tries to scat after he sings several choruses of this tune. Scatting is what we call it when jazz singers improvise on nonsensical syllables, and there are some that can do it very, very well. But Bip Bipadada wasn't really good at it, and after he started off on a verse, he would kind of epically fail and just sort of trail off as he looked for some approval from the other Muppets that sang the song with him, the Two Pink Snotes. So, we'll recreate this in a way and bring two of our flutists to the front who will stand in as the Snotes. And once again, Mrs. Cathy James will be our soloist, but she'll need to sit down for this one as she will play her ginormous bass saxophone for this tune. And there it is. The bass saxophone isn't the lowest and the biggest of the saxophone family, but it's pretty close, and when we came up with the idea for this arrangement, we couldn't think of any better instrument than this one to imitate Bip Bipadada. So would you please welcome back to the stage Mrs. Cathy James and the bass saxophone. And we do encourage you to sing along with do-do-do-do-do if you know when it happens. And we hope this brings back some memories as we play MANAMANA.
All right.
Saxophone, Mrs. Cathy James, and the Snooks, Liz Seneff and Emma Wise. Up next is a march that was written by a man who spent his entire composition career on writing works for bands at all levels, particularly for younger bands. We wanted to feature a work from this composer on tonight's Kidz concert to show what kind of music he wrote, as they not only presented a challenge to the players, but were also satisfying to play as they sounded very colorful. Eric Osterling was an award-winning composer, and his concert marches and band arrangements are played very often by school bands and college bands across the country. And in order for us to play this march, we need our guest conductor to make an appearance on the podium. So would you please welcome our winner? Give him a hand. He will lead us in Le Sabre.
Are we set, people? All right.